Where are you right now?
I am in Medicine Hat.
What do you think of Medi?
It's it's a little chilly.
It's a little chilly, yeah.
I haven't left the hotel. We got in here late last night, and oddly enough, from my hotel room, I can still see your mall.
Oh, wow. So you played the mall, didn't you? You were just here a few months ago.
I was, yeah. I was at Rick Bronson's.
Right, the comic strip.
Love that place and love that guy, man.
How long have you been touring with Larry?
It's been probably 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then just last year we started this thing with me and Ingval and Foxworthy and Cable Guy.
Right. So it's I assume like a 3-hour comedy show kind of thing, right?
It's long. Oddly enough, I don't do as much time as they do, and then we don't split the money evenly either, which I don't get. You know what I mean? I'm putting in the effort. I'm making the travel.
Well, man, hey, your name's getting bigger and bigger every year, though.
Oh, thanks, man.
Things are starting to come together, I think.
Oh, no, everything's good, man. I did a TV show last year, and we're working on a new one now, and plugging along. It's one of those things where it's like anything else. You got to keep working at it.
Right. What's the new TV show? Is it the same to the road trip one, or is it a different thing?
No, well, I'm doing an animated show that we're in the process. I wrote it with a guy that was from The Simpsons and King of the Hill.
Oh, wow.
And then there's another show that's a reality show, and I can't tell you what network it is because it hasn't been greenlighted and my papers haven't been signed. But it's another reality show. Last year I did a show on NBC where I traveled around with these families and they competed against stuff. We traveled all of Route 66 through the states, and it was a mom and dad little kid show. I drove an RV that had a giant picture of my head on the side of it, and if you don't know who I am, I just look like a really cocky camper. You know what I mean? People are like, that guy's a jackass, man. I get you, and I'm driving it, and they're driving beside me like, all right, I get it. You like to camp.
It must have been fun, though.
It was fun, yeah. I had a great time doing it.
You have basically your whole year planned out. Like, that's got to be a good feeling, but a weird feeling at the same time.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of when you're on a tour like this, and like I still do clubs and stuff in between because I have to write. You know what I mean? Like I can't go up and screw around in front of 16,000 people, going like, hey, let me try this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you can't really test material on something like this.
Yeah, you can't, and so I still do other stuff, but for a comic, it's really nice to have some sort of job security.
Mm-hmm.
To know that I'll have work at least for one more year.
Yeah,
I got kids and a wife and all that. So
all the bills to pay and everything.
That's right.
Do you prefer the shorter set? Because you said you're doing a shorter set. Is it easier to do a shorter set?
I prefer, honestly, my favorite thing to do is to do a comedy club or a theater and do a full set. Because right when you start getting them amped up, and then the thing with this show is like I go up first, and then Bill and Jeff and Cable Guy, and then all four of us go up at the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we take questions from like people in the audience that I've gotten, and so that's ad lib fun stuff, screwing around. That's my favorite thing to do.
Improv.
Yeah.
How much of an act is scripted, and how much? I guess for these shows like the Friday Night at Rexall, where it's a big show, I'm assuming it's all off script. There's not going to be too much improv.
Not out of the stand-up part, but the end is improv.
Right. Yeah. I'm talking stand-up. So, but even in the clubs, like what was I watching last night? I think I saw a video clip that's on your website from Montreal, I believe, from a few summers ago.
Yeah.
And it seems scripted, but you never know what's or it seems improv rather, but you never know what's actually improv and what's scripted.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much know what I'm going to talk about. It can go any direction, like if something else pops in my head. But I know, in something like Montreal or, like the Rexall, I know what jokes I'm going to tell before I get there. And the thing is, too, is like when there's that many people, if somebody yells something out, 99.9% of the other people in there can't hear them.
Right.
So it looks like you have like Tourette's or something. You just start going like, yeah, really, and you go off on some kind of crowd. Nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, it switches up. Like you kind of get halfway into something and something else kicks in your head and you go, oh, that's funny, man. I'll put that there. And so I don't know. I love doing the improv though.
When do you find it easiest to write?
Oddly enough, on stage. At home with two little kids, you can't do anything. You know what I mean? Like as far as, and I'm not one of those people that sits down and like goes, today I'm going to write for 3 hours. Something weird will happen in life, and then I'll take it and twist it and tweak it or it's all my stuff is based off something that really happened. So I'll be in the middle of something, and then I'll think of something else that happened, but that's how I write. And then I'll tell the story once, and then if it kind of goes well, then I'll keep it and keep trying to make it funnier. Or if it just sucks, then I'm like, I'll just forget that.
For people who don't know your act, why don't you tell people, like, what is a Reno Collier act like? What do you talk about?
I guess I've always had a hard time describing it, and then my wife kind of told me what I was. But it's kind of like a guy who ends up with responsibility who just kicks and screams having to deal with all of it.
That's good.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm married. I used to be a school teacher. I got kids, but none of it really fits me, and I don't know how the hell I got here. Yeah, I don't know if that sounds like I'm a moron, but like, I don't. Have you ever had like a moment where you just go like, how did this happen?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Like, how did I get to here? I got kids, and it's like, yeah, dumbass, it's his 7th birthday, and you're like, wow, who's that guy? I mean, it's not that bad, but you know what I mean. Like, you just come to realizations like, wow, man, I got a lot of stuff I'm responsible for.
You're an adult now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that,
Do you want to go into acting? I see with this reality stuff and this animated show. Is that, I know the progression for a comedian is usually, you get a sitcom and then you go into acting and blah, blah, blah. And that's, the, I guess, idealistic way that people look at things because that's just how it's always done. But what do you want?
Yeah, I mean, I like being a comedian. I've done little parts in movies and stuff, and that stuff is fun. But really, what I like doing stand-up and doing a sitcom. A lot of it just looks, and reality TV is as bad, if not worse. I'm not, but I mean, some of the sitcoms are so stupid that you're like, I mean, there's some really good ones too.
Right.
But some of them are just so dumb, and it's like, God, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't peak. It used to 10 years ago. I'd be like, God, it'd be so great to have a sitcom, and now I'm like, I'd rather tour and to meet people and hang out. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's my age or what. But plus, I don't live in Los Angeles. I fly out there like every 2 months or whatever.
Right.
But I hate the people there. I'm just being honest. I mean, like,
why do you hate the people there?
It's just they're so superficial and uptight, and it's like, I'm not going to dress up for anything. You know what I mean? And I don't really care about what kind of truck I have, or I don't know. I could care less about that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I live kind of out in the country, and I like it. It's quiet.
Well, you're in Medicine Hat right now. I'm sure it's a lot like the country.
What does Medicine Hat even mean?
I don't know. I assume it was an old like Native American doctor that lived there at some point. Medicine.
Oh, Medicine Hat. Okay.
There's the world's largest teepee in Medicine Hat. I can tell you that. It's disappointing, but it's there. That's about it.
Yeah, it almost sounds dirty.
A little bit, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The people are really nice, though. It's so freaking cold, though. I mean, you can't. But inside this hotel, they have a water slide. It's not like your mall in Edmonton. It's like you just built that around stuff you already had. Like there's a freaking amusement parks, and there's dolphins and people swimming in there. I've never seen anything like that in the world.
It's what we do here.
Oh, I know.
It's too cold to go outside.
It's the best mall in the world. It's like you walk by a Sony store, and then 5 minutes later you walk by it again, and you never turned. It's like, did I end up back over here?
Before I let you go, we do something called 5 questions, 5 quick questions, 1-word answers.
Okay.
Carlin or Pryor?
Pryor.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon.
Most important thing, punchline or the timing?
Timing.
The bit you've written you're most proud of?
In one word?
Well, no.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's a chunk about my kids.
1 word, Reno Collier.
Fish sticks.